Harris, the first black woman nominated for president, now adding a military veteran, governor, and Midwesterner Tim Walz to the Democratic ticket. The two planning to make their debut as running mates later on tonight. Natalie Haddad is in our from WFA Politicals team, joins me now with a look at just who Walz is and reaction to this pick, Natalie. And I guess if you said earlier today that Tim Walz was the guy, you had at least a 1 in 3 chance of being right.
At least a 1 in 3 chance. We know that Harris met with 3 of her final candidates just on Sunday. Now, we already have received statements of support as well as attacks from the Trump campaign for Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate. We've also heard from Harris and Walz themselves, and that is where we start today. Kamala Harris announced on social media that she'd chosen Tim Walz as her running partner, saying in part, "One of the things that stood out to me about Tim is how his convictions on fighting for middle-class families runs deep. It's personal." It goes on to talk about his upbringing, calling his history in his own right, impressive in his own right, and that he worked with Republicans to pass infrastructure investments. He cut taxes for working families. He passed a law to provide paid family and medical leave to Minnesotan families as well. Tim Walz responded online, also saying, "It is the honor of a lifetime to join Kamala Harris in this campaign. I'm all in. Vice President Harris is showing us the politics of what's possible. It reminds me a bit of the first day of school. So let's get this done, folks. Join us." Now, here are a few key facts about the new vice presidential candidate. First, Walz has a history of flipping seats. In 2006, he defeated a 6-term incumbent congressman and was reelected in his typically red-leaning district, until he left Congress to run for governor in 2018. He has served as the governor of Minnesota for the last 6 years. But prior to all of this, Walz spent more than 2 decades in the Army National Guard. That included a deployment overseas after the 9/11 attacks. He also worked as an educator and a coach, kind of circling back to his statement online about feeling like how this is like the first day of school. Now, attacks on Harris's VP pick came shortly after the news was out this morning. The Trump campaign released a statement saying, in part, "It's no surprise that San Francisco liberal Kamala Harris wants West Coast wannabe Tim Walz as her running mate." Walz has spent his governorship trying to reshape Minnesota in the image of the Golden State. It goes on to say, from proposing his own carbon-free agenda to suggesting stricter emission standards for gas-powered cars and embracing policies to allow convicted felons to vote, Walz is obsessed with spreading California's dangerously liberal agenda far and wide. Now, how Walz affects the Harris campaign is to be seen. Minnesota is a swing state neighboring Wisconsin and Michigan, which are critical background states during election season. Walz will make his first public appearance with Harris at a rally later this afternoon in Pennsylvania. Mark.
Okay, Natalie, thank you for that report today. And meanwhile, the Republican nominee for vice president also in Philadelphia today. J.D. Vance is making his first stop in Pennsylvania since Donald Trump named him as his running mate last month. Now, Vance's visit comes just hours before Harris is set to kick off her tour of battleground states. Certainly a lot to comb through when you come to the race for the White House as we count down with just more than 3 months to go till Election Day. Of course, we are keeping you up to speed on everything on our website at WFAA.com/politics.